Hi there, Prairie Plant Girl here. I thought I would bring you in and give you a little update on the seedlings that I planted that I'm hoping to get some early spring flowers going before my average last frost date. So if you've been following my channel for a little bit, you might recall that I've planted some pansies, and let me just check here. So the pansies were planted on the 19th of January, and then I actually separated them and spread them out a little bit. I don't know if I actually wrote down when I did that. I didn't, but I think it was last week. There's a video I just put out about that that came out just within days of doing that. So I think it was just last week that I did that. And then I planted out, I sowed the Snapdragons on the 2nd of February. So the Snapdragons the 2nd of February, and it's now the 18th of February. So these are just over 2 weeks that they've been in here, and the pansies are just over a month old now. So the pansies that I have planted here are a coastal mix, matrix coastal mix are these here. And you can see they're doing really, really well. They take a little while to get going, but once they do, they just take off. Pansies need darkness to germinate, so that's a little tip for you if you're getting pansies going. And then this variety is Raspberry Sunday. They're looking really nice as well. And I think because I moved some around, yeah, it looks like I have one in each cell, so I have 18 pansy plants going here. So that's going to be really nice to have those come spring. I'm hoping to get them out kind of mid to late April, beginning of May, just depending on how our weather's kind of doing and looking like in the forecast then. So my average last frost date isn't until about the 24th of May, but I'm hoping to have some flowering plants just by my front door, you know, in a protected space, just to get a little bit of color and bring a little bit of spring in there early. So that's what these plants are for. So this over here is my Snapdragons, and I believe this is the Snap Teeny. No, this is the mini Snap Mix. And I don't know how well you can see here, but I've had decent germination. Now Snapdragons need light to germinate. So these were just sown, surface sown, and the mini Snap Mix, I just sprinkled their uncoated seed, and I just sprinkled them on the surface. So there were several sown in each little cell of this 9-cell pack. And you can see like this one has, I can see about 5, it looks like 6 maybe that came up. Some aren't looking like they're going to be really healthy. Some just have a couple. And then I had 1 or 2 that had none that came up in them. This one might have, yeah, it has 1 right on the edge there. So they're doing all right. This, I believe, was an older package, but still pretty decent germination, I'd say, on those. And I think because I'd put vermiculite, a really fine vermiculite down, and then I just put the really small seeds which need light and sprayed them. And I think I actually wound up burying some of them with vermiculite, which normally isn't an issue for plants that need light, but I think because the Snapdragon seeds are so small that maybe that caused some problems for me. But I think still decent germination. So what I'm going to be doing with these today is actually taking out the extras that are in the cells, and I'm going to be moving and putting some of them into another 9-cell tray here. And if I have any empty cells left after I do that, which I think I'll have a couple, I'm just going to sow. I have a few more of those seeds here, so I'll just sow them, and they'll be a few weeks behind, but just be a few more to try and get there. So that was the mini Snap Mix. And then this was some that I grew. They were new to me this year. This is the Snap Teeny, and these were pelleted seeds. So I put exactly 1 in each cell, and you can see some things here, like this. This is actually a weed coming up out of the potting mix. This is just the cheapest potting soil I could find in large quantities last fall. Pots and Plants, I think it's called, But so there's the odd little weed seed that seems to be coming up in these. And I only had germination, like, I don't know how you can see right there. There's one coming up right there, but it never formed cotyledon leaves. It never grew properly. Now I did have a few aphids in this room. I've just taken out any plants that had aphids and just threw them outside now. Anything that still had them, I'm just tired of fighting them. But so I don't know if they ate off the cotyledons before I saw them, but I never saw any more aphids in here. So I don't think that was the issue. But I did have a couple, and you may have seen a couple in here too that just didn't seem to develop the cotyledon leaves, which seems really odd to me. And then I have a few that have come up nicely. So with this, I have a few more seeds from this mix that I think I'm just going to pop into these cell trays here. And we'll just see what we get out of those coming up. Like I said, they just need to go on the surface. So I'll do that today. And then I just wanted to show you in the next couple of days here, I'm going to be sowing. This is some Osteospermum seed. So this is just seed that I collected from a few different Osteospermums that I had growing in my yard. Some were commercial grown, so I don't know how well that seed is going to come up and if it's going to be true to that plant or not. And then I had some that were Asti white, I think is what they're called, and they're just a really pretty white Osteospermum that has a purple eye. And I believe I had some seeds collected off of those as well. Again, I've never collected seed from those plants before, so I'm not sure what I'm going to get out of these, but I thought it would be fun to try and find out. And they're fairly frost tolerant like these other plants, so I thought they would be fun to try and get some out early. So this is too early if you're planting these, planning to put out after your average last frost. It's you're going to be babying these plants and keeping them indoors quite a long time. But if you're wanting to get them out a little bit before the average last frost and take that risk on losing those plants like I am, this is when I'm doing them for that. And then I'm also going to be starting some Angelonia. Angelonia needs to be started 10 to 12 weeks before your average last frost. And I'm hitting that point now. I believe I'm at 13 weeks. I think this weekend will be about 12 weeks for me. So I'm also going to be starting some of these in the next few days as well. So I thought I'd just let you know what I'm doing here. I'm going to throw a little clip in at the end of this video of a little garden visitor that I saw today, and I caught a few little seconds of him out there. So it's always a welcome visitor to see when the woodpeckers show up in my yard. So I got a little clip of that. So if you want to see a more thorough demonstration of how to do this, I'll put a link to the video I just did about separating out my pansies, because that's the exact same process that I'm going to be using for my Snapdragons. So there, I had enough seedlings to actually transplant one into each of these cells. Now, one of them, well, two of them really were really tiny. One, I actually broke one of the cotyledon leaves off of, I think it's this one right here. Nope, can't remember, but that'll be okay. That's why you handle them by the leaves. As long as the stem is fine and I didn't damage the roots too badly, these should all tuck right into their little new homes here and grow really well for me. So that's a nice way to get more if you want. Otherwise, if you have too many growing in a spot, just snip them off with a pair of snips or small scissors or something so that they're not competing for the space in these little cells. And then I had to replant. I put new seed in 5 of these little cells here of the Snapteenies. This one technically has a tiny little plant coming along the side here, so I probably didn't need to put one in there, but I did because I forgot that little one was in there till I had the seed there. And I've watered them like I said before, they need light to germinate, so I've left the seed just sitting on top, watered them all in, and now we'll just wait. And in a couple of days, I'll get the Osteospermum and the Angelonia planted up as well. So if you're interested in seeing a video about those, let me know in the comments down below, and I could make up a video for you of me planting the Osteos or the Angelonia. I think I actually have a video of Osteo planting, sowing the seeds already. I'll check. If I do, I'll put it in the description down below, as well as I'll put the more detailed video when I separated out these pansies and thinned them out in the description down below as well in case you want to check that out. So thanks for joining me in my plant room today, and we'll see you next time. Bye.